Good morning and welcome back to it, the Now Morning Show, for a brand new segment where we get to talk about my favorite things, pets. Joining me this morning, we have veterinarian and, of course, pet expert, Kavita Prasad of Luna Light Veterinary Clinic. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure, not just because I own 3 dogs myself, but because during the pandemic, a lot of people may have adopted new pets or purchased new pets. There's a lot of conversation about adopting versus shopping, and generally Trinbagonians see a stray dog and think very poorly of it. But we are here today to tell people not just about how they can help the dogs or any other animals themselves have a better life, but to help us too.
Yes.
Let's get started with your background though, because
Sure.
you have been practicing for 6 years after 5 years of study.
Yes,
That
correct.
means you're pretty much an expert in just about every type of animal we could think of, yes?
I wouldn't say quite an expert at every type of animal, but I want to get there.
And I hope you do, because we should talk about some of the good animals versus bad animals as pets. If you're a first-time pet owner, do you have any suggestions as to what type of animal we should look at?
So for first-time pet owners, it really depends on your lifestyle. So a lot of people see, a type of dog or a breed of dog or cat or hamster or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I want this, I want that," and you kind of want to impulse buy, but you kind of have to think about, your lifestyle and what's suited best for you. So you have to think about, do you have a lot of time to see about this pet? Are you active? If you're active, then yeah, you could probably take a dog on walks. Do you have let's say, kids who might want to cradle bunnies or hamsters or something.
Right.
But remember that hamsters are nocturnal, so when your kids are sleeping, they're up.
Where were you 3 years ago before I decided to buy all my dogs? Because I actually learned by experience that hamsters are nocturnal because mine would wake me up.
Right.
But they also have a very short lifespan, so my
Correct.
attachment was traumatic.
Yes, you have to be prepared for that.
Right. So these are some interesting things that the pet shops don't necessarily tell you.
Yes.
Good to know.
You have to do your research.
Absolutely. But getting back into specifically the breeds or types of animals with your lifestyles, if you then live a very erratic lifestyle, a very busy schedule,
Correct.
what might be best?
That's
Again,
a
I'm
good
asking this too
question.
late. Rokas put up his head.
That's a good question. Definitely not a dog. Yeah, a fish. Fish could work.
Because definitely not dogs.
Because dogs need a lot of attention. And again, it depends on your breed of dog too. If it's a specific breed that's really active, it needs a lot of exercise and that kind of thing. So if you're active, then
Kavita needed in my life. And in that case, if you are, so a fish is definitely for the fast
a fish is just, beginners.
Okay, fine.
for a fast-paced life.
Okay.
Cats are a little more low maintenance than dogs. I would say well, in a sense, it really depends. Every animal has their, different individuality. So,
And
yeah.
speaking of individuality, they would need individual things differently.
correct.
And in terms of health, it's not necessarily something we think of a lot with animals. I noticed the relationship that most West Indian people hold with domesticated pets versus that of the Americans, for example.
yeah.
It's chalk and cheese. Dogs have rights in the States.
Yeah, well, dogs have insurance. I mean, we're now trying to introduce insurance here, but I mean, pets have insurance abroad, so that's a thing.
Then let's talk about some of those other needs that we may not consider apart from food, water, and exercise. What else should we be looking at when we look at domestic pets or domesticated pets specifically?
So a lot of Trinidadians have the idea that, okay, if you get a dog, it should, especially a potong, so to speak, shouldn't be vaccinated because they're, just
Resilient.
a potong. Yeah, right? But I mean, viruses don't go all, oh, I'm going to pick this dog to infect, and I'm going to not pick this dog to
I
infect.
actually didn't know that was a commonplace thought.
Yeah.
Because generally, when you have a puppy, a cat, how old should they be when they get their first set of shots?
So for pups, generally 6 weeks of age,
Right.
because when they're born, they get their antibodies from the mother's milk.
Much like humans, right?
Exactly, like humans. So when that starts to wear off, then, you start to give the pups their first set of shots, and they have to not only get one shot, which people think, they come to the clinic and they're like, okay, they came to give the dog a shot or their first shot or whatever, and they don't return for the series of vaccines, but they have to remember that, it's a full course of vaccines that they have to get for the animal to be fully protected, otherwise you're just, wasting your money, wasting your time. And then the animal could get sick in any case. So prevention is always better than cure. So.
Absolutely. This fish is singing better and better, I just want to say. Okay,
but
so
you
we've
still
gotten
have
past
3
the...
dogs, so that means that you're still doing a very good job.
They've gotten past the shot. They do get fed. They do get water. We working on the exercise, but what else do we need for those sorts of pets?
Like I said, it really depends because, I have 4 dogs at home, and each of them needs... Well, they require different things. Like, my youngest pup, she's like this little wild, crazy thing, and she just needs love and attention and food. And I have another one, she's old, she's geriatric. So again, you need to think about young pet versus older pet. She is currently having arthritis issues, so she needs to be on supplements and that kind of thing. So she requires additional care.
Always interesting to me because, again, we don't necessarily consider the needs of a living thing to be similar to ours for some reason.
A human thing, yeah.
We always think of dogs as, they're going to thrive, they're going to be fine. But to talk about arthritis and even in certain breeds, certain chronic problems or diseases, correct. How do we check on those things? What signs do we look like? How do we prevent? As we say, prevention is better than cure.
Right.
How often should we visit the vet then?
So, well, personally, my recommendation is at least every 3 months, just for a general checkup. Make sure everything is all right with the pet from a veterinary perspective. You get your regular deworming, annual vaccines. Again, it depends on the type of pet because, birds, for example, their main thing is diet, right? And a lot of people, we'll get to that in other segments, but birds require a lot of attention. People want to have monkeys as pets, and that is really, really horrible because monkeys need a lot of stimulation and they're not supposed to be pets. So, yeah. So, again, it really depends on what you're getting as, a pet.
What if you got a raucous? No, I'm just saying. The face that he just made. Generally, we will have to explore the types of pets that we can and can't get as well legally, because another thing that we consider here in Trinidad is the ability to, hunt and freely explore the forest. Take something home, and there are a lot of things that require extra maintenance that sometimes vets can't provide. Yeah. So we're going to be talking to you every Friday to make sure that we get those details. Absolutely. But in terms of some tips for persons who are looking for that pet, specifically, as we said, through the pandemic, to help us navigate the lonelies, the frustrations of the world, any tips when choosing a pet as a young professional, specifically, without kids?
As a young professional without kids.
Top 3 things we should think of when choosing a pet.
Again, it just comes back to the profession you're in, your lifestyle. So if you know you're
busy, we're 9 to 5 and all the time.
Yeah, then you have to think about not just your needs but the pet's needs. So if you know you're gonna be busy, then you
get that fish.
Yeah, well, not really a fish, but it could be like a bird or something too. But as long as you have stimulation, so like I said, different things require need. So you need to do your research. So again, do your research on what they would require. So that's one thing.
Consider your schedule.
Yeah, your schedule, lifestyle, your what else? It's just basically when it comes to it, it's just like your lifestyle and what's best suited for you, and then what you think you can handle, and the maintenance. Oh, and finance. That's one thing I forgot. Finance, because you might want the little multi-poo, but you don't remember that it has to be groomed ever so often as compared to a short-haired dog,
Not again. So, Kavita, I wish you were in my life sooner, but I am happy that you are now. Kavita Prasad, the veterinarian at the Luna Light Vet for Pets. And we will be talking to Kavita every Friday as we get some insight on how to be better pet parents right here on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break. We will come back with more. And in the meantime, Ruckus is going to seek his revenge on my little comment, and we will talk about more pet things. I love you. But I definitely should get a fish. I wish I got to before.
You can't really get attached to fishes.
That's okay. Like, I would have been attached to a fish. I would have. I definitely would have. I have a dog named Fish. I have a dog named Bear. I could trade.